They called her the Angel of Willow Creek. On the surface, she seemed perfect, always smiling, always helping, always the first to bring food to a grieving family or volunteer at the church. In a small town where everyone knew each other's business, she was the one person nobody dared to question. But behind that sweet smile, she carried a secret so dark it could rip the heart right out of the town. It began on a chilly autumn morning. Jamal Harris, a 19-year-old black teen, walked down Main Street with his head held high, but his pockets nearly empty. He wasn't a troublemaker. He worked part-time at the gas station and dreamed of being the first in his family to graduate college. But in Willow Creek, a boy like him was always underestimated, always looked at with suspicion. That day, as Jamal passed by the bakery, he noticed the angel herself, Miss Eleanor Whitfield, helping an elderly man carry his groceries. She laughed sweetly, her silver hair shining in the sunlight, her pearl necklace catching every eye. People waved at her like she was the very heartbeat of the town. But Jamal noticed something different. Her smile faltered when she saw him. That evening, Jamal stopped by the gas station for his shift. As he cleaned the counter, two deputies walked in. Their voices were sharp, their eyes colder than the night. "Boy," one said, "there's been some money missing from the church fund. People say they saw you hanging around." Jamal's heart dropped. He had done nothing wrong. But in Willow Creek, all it took was one whisper, and Miss Eleanor's voice carried farther than anyone else's. "Check the cameras," Jamal said firmly, though his voice trembled. "I didn't take a thing." The deputies smirked. "We'll see." Hours later, Jamal overheard something that made his blood run cold. Through the thin walls of the gas station office, he heard Miss Eleanor's name. "Funny thing," one deputy muttered, "the last person to handle the church donations was Eleanor Whitfield. But ain't nobody questioning her. Too good for that." The other chuckled darkly. "If only folks knew half the things she's hiding." Jamal froze. The so-called angel wasn't as spotless as she appeared. That night, Jamal made a choice. He could stay silent, let the town bury him under false accusations, or he could dig for the truth. He remembered his late grandmother's words. "Child, silence keeps chains locked, but truth breaks them wide open." So Jamal started watching Eleanor closely. The next Sunday, the church was packed. Miss Eleanor stood at the front, leading the choir, her voice soft and holy. But Jamal's eyes weren't on her lips. They were on her hands. And what he saw made his stomach twist. A small key dangling from her charm bracelet. Not just any key. It bore the mark of the church's safe. Why would the Angel of Willow Creek be carrying that? The following week, Jamal followed her discreetly after evening service. She walked swiftly, heels clicking against the pavement, until she reached the back entrance of the church. With a quick glance over her shoulder, she slipped inside. Jamal crept closer, pressing his ear to the wooden door. He heard the metallic scrape of the safe opening, the rustle of cash being stuffed into a bag, and then a whisper. "Forgive me, Lord, but they'll never understand." Jamal's chest pounded. The angel wasn't saving the town. She was bleeding it dry. But what could he do? Who would believe a young black teen over the town's most beloved figure? If he accused her, they'd crucify him, not her. Still, he had one weapon, the truth. The turning point came when Eleanor herself confronted him. Late one evening, as Jamal walked home, she appeared from the shadows, her smile colder than winter. "You've been watching me," she said softly. "Curiosity is dangerous, boy." Jamal swallowed hard. "I know what you've been doing." Her eyes narrowed, the mask slipping for the first time. "Be careful. This town believes in angels, not in boys who look like you." Her words cut deep, but they also lit fire in him. She wasn't just protecting her secrets. She was threatening his very existence. The suspense built to a boiling point at the next town meeting. Eleanor stood proudly at the podium, speaking about unity and faith. The crowd hung on her every word. But Jamal raised his hand. His voice shook, but it carried. "Ask her about the church safe." Gasps filled the room. Eleanor's smile cracked for just a second. The mayor demanded an explanation. And in that charged silence, all eyes turned toward the woman they had worshipped for years. That was when justice made its first move. The deputies, those same men who once accused Jamal, admitted they had quietly suspected Eleanor for months but never dared speak. Now, with Jamal's courage, the floodgates opened. The angel's halo began to crumble. But just as Jamal thought the truth would set him free, Eleanor leaned forward, her voice trembling but sharp enough to pierce the air. "You think you know me, child? You don't know the half of it. What I've done to protect this town. And if you expose me, you'll destroy more lives than you'll ever save." The room erupted in whispers. Jamal's heart pounded. Was she bluffing? Or was there something even darker she was hiding? The life lesson was clear. Even the brightest angels can cast the darkest shadows. And sometimes it takes the courage of the underestimated to reveal the truth. But as the meeting descended into chaos, Eleanor's final words sent a shiver through Jamal's soul. "Be careful, Jamal Harris. If you open this door, you won't just ruin me, you'll ruin everyone." And with that, the cliffhanger struck like lightning. What deadly secret was Eleanor hiding? What power did she hold over the entire town? One thing was certain. Jamal had pulled back the curtain, but the show was only beginning, because the town of Willow Creek had never seen such a storm. For decades, Eleanor Whitfield was their saint, their shining light. But now, that light flickered under the weight of suspicion, and at the center of it all was Jamal Harris, the boy they once ignored, now holding the truth like a torch in the dark. The morning after the town meeting, Jamal walked down Main Street, and every eye followed him, some with admiration, others with venom. Whispers curled around him like smoke. "Is it true?" one woman muttered. "He's just trying to ruin Eleanor," another snapped. But Jamal's chest held steady. For the first time, he wasn't the one hiding in the shadows. She was. That evening, Jamal returned to the church. He knew Eleanor's warning wasn't empty. If you open this door, you'll ruin everyone. The question clawed at him. What could one woman be hiding that would shatter an entire town? Inside the church office, Jamal discovered something shocking. The ledgers didn't just show missing donations. They revealed payments. Large sums of money, funneled quietly into community projects that didn't exist. Thousands of dollars gone month after month. But at the bottom of the page was a name that made his stomach drop. Sheriff Cole Whitfield, her brother, the law of Willow Creek. Suddenly, the puzzle pieces clicked into place. This wasn't just Eleanor stealing for herself. It was a web, money laundering cover-ups, and the sheriff himself pulling strings to protect her. Jamal realized with horror, exposing Eleanor didn't just mean bringing her down. It meant declaring war on the entire system that ran the town. Days later, Eleanor appeared again. This time, in broad daylight, she walked right into the gas station where Jamal worked. The customers froze as she leaned over the counter. Her perfume sweet, but her words laced with poison. "You think you're brave, child? You're just a pawn. Do you know how many secrets this town hides? Do you know how many people will bury you before they let you ruin them?" Jamal swallowed, his voice steady. "I'm not afraid of you." Her smile faltered for the briefest moment. "You should be." That night, Jamal received an anonymous message slipped under his door. A folded piece of paper, scrawled in shaky handwriting. "She's hiding more than money. Basement. Don't trust anyone." Jamal's blood ran cold. Basement? What basement? He knew Eleanor's house stood on the edge of town, a sprawling white mansion everyone admired but few entered. If there was a basement, what could possibly be down there? The decision gnawed at him, but Jamal's heart knew the answer. He had already opened the door to this war. Now he had to walk through it. So, one stormy night, he went. The mansion loomed like a ghost in the rain, its windows glowing faintly. Jamal slipped around the back, heart pounding, until he found the cellar doors half hidden under ivy. They creaked as he pulled them open. The air that rushed out was damp, suffocating, heavy with secrets. He stepped inside. What he found stopped him cold. Boxes stacked high, filled with files, old court records, property deeds, police reports. Names he recognized. Names of families in Willow Creek. Documents that should have been locked in the courthouse, not rotting in Eleanor's basement. And then, tucked away in a corner, a metal trunk. Inside, photographs. Jamal's hands shook as he flipped through them. Pictures of townsfolk. Some smiling, some crying, some bruised. Attached to each photo was a note. Debts owed, crimes covered, favors exchanged. It wasn't just corruption. It was control. Eleanor had been holding the entire town hostage with their own sins. But then, he froze. The last photograph in the pile wasn't of a stranger. It was of him, Jamal Harris. A picture taken months ago, when he didn't even notice the camera. On the back, in Eleanor's neat handwriting, were 4 chilling words. He knows too much. The sound of footsteps echoed behind him. Jamal turned, heart in his throat, and there she was, Eleanor Whitfield, standing at the bottom of the stairs, her face half lit by the swinging bulb. No sweet smile now, just cold, unmasked fury. "I warned you," she whispered. "You had one chance to walk away. Now, you've signed your own death warrant." Jamal's fists clenched. His chest burned with fear, but also with fire. "No, Miss Eleanor, you're the one who's finished." Her lips curved into a twisted smile. "Oh, child, you don't even know the game you've stepped into." She stepped closer, her voice dropping to a whisper that cut the silence like a knife. "Because I'm not the only one in this town you should be afraid of." The light bulb flickered. Thunder cracked overhead. And in that suffocating basement, Jamal realized with icy clarity, Eleanor wasn't bluffing. There was someone else. Someone even more dangerous than her. To be continued, subscribe for part 2.